Today, we're learning how to rescue a dying plant right from the brink of the compost bin. It really doesn't matter what brought the plant to this sad state in the first place, because this method works almost every single time, as long as that plant still has the will to fight.
There's this wonderful saying, sometimes all a plant needs is calm light, a bit of water, someone who believes in it, and a little time. I absolutely love that. It perfectly sets the tone for our tutorial, doesn't it? We aren't just treating a houseplant here. We're stepping in as plant medics for a living thing that is seriously struggling. We've got to act while it still has that will to survive. Empathy, patience, and just a little bit of structural care, that's exactly what's going to turn our underdog story into a massive success.
Section 1. The hopeless case. Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at a dying Schefflera, also known as an umbrella plant.
Section 2. Essential tools for rescue. Time to gather those supplies. Before we can really play plant doctor and rush this struggling Schefflera into the ICU, we obviously need to get our supplies ready. When a plant gets to this kind of pitiful, exhausted state, no leaves, a sad stem, old dirt, most people just throw it away, but not us. We're looking past the damage. And don't worry, you absolutely do not need a professional greenhouse or expensive chemicals to pull off this rescue. Our beginner-friendly toolkit is super accessible. All we need is plain, room temperature water. Seriously, skip the freezing cold or hot water. We do not want to shock the poor thing. Next, grab some standard 3% hydrogen peroxide right out of your medicine cabinet. You'll also need a simple glass container, some universal peat-based soil, a bit of perlite to help that soil breathe, and a fresh new pot. That's literally it. This simple list is the whole shebang for the entire revival process. Section 3, Step 1, the cleanse. Giving it a fresh start. To save this plant, pouring water on old, tired dirt just isn't going to cut it. We have to give these roots a completely fresh start. Just imagine those pitiful, weak roots suffocating down there. So our very first step is to gently, carefully remove all of that old dirt. You want to clean the roots until they are completely bare. Why? Well, getting rid of the old soil ensures there is absolutely nothing holding the plant back. Even the weakest roots can bounce back when they're finally freed from that compacted, nutrient-depleted dirt. All right, roots are bare, and we are prepped and ready for treatment.
Section 4. The hydrogen peroxide bath. Let's boost that oxygen.
Now, this brings us to what I like to call the magic phase of our explainer. We're using a trusted household helper to give those bare roots a massive boost. Now, pay close attention to this critical measurement. Maybe even pause and jot this down. You need exactly 1 teaspoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide, mixed into 1.5 liters of plain, room temperature water. So why hydrogen peroxide? It's pretty simple. It beautifully boosts the oxygen levels in the water, which is exactly what these suffocating roots need to stimulate new growth. Remember, 1 teaspoon to 1.5 liters. Okay, here are your exact steps for this ICU phase. Gently place your weakened Schefflera into that hydrogen peroxide solution and just let it soak for about 30 minutes. This quick soak gives those struggling roots the immediate, oxygen-rich kick they desperately need. Then, once your 30 minutes are up, pick out a nice-looking glass container, fill it up with plain, room-temperature water, no peroxide this time, just plain water, and transfer your plant right in. Now, I want to take a quick second to be totally transparent, especially for the complete beginners with us. During this specific rescue, a top cutting of the Schefflera was also taken and put in water to see if it would root. Guess what? It didn't. It rotted. And I'm sharing this because I want you to know that this is perfectly normal. Weak or highly stressed cuttings rarely have the energy to grow new roots. If you try to save a dying plant and a piece of it doesn't make it, seriously, don't get discouraged. It happens and it's totally okay. We just focus on what survives. Section 5, the waiting game, where patience truly pays off. Now, what's really interesting about this part is that it's often the absolute hardest phase of the entire process, literally just leaving the plant alone. Let's look at this recovery timeline. On day 1, we did all the heavy lifting, the root cleaning, and that 30-minute peroxide bath. By week 2, the plant is just resting in its glass of plain water in some calm light. Now, you might actually notice the water turning a bit green as the weeks pass. Resist the urge to constantly mess with it. Just let it sit. And then, right around the 1-month mark, magic. The plant uses all that quiet, uninterrupted time to regain its strength, and boom, tiny new leaves begin to appear. The triumph of patience here is just incredible. We go from these pitiful, weak roots suffocating in old soil, literally a plant most people would have tossed in the trash without a second thought, to tiny, beautiful, green variegated leaves emerging right out of the stem. It's like they were born all over again. Our underdog is finally back in the fight.
Section 6, a brand new home. Time for repotting.
So here's the deal. Once those new leaves appear and the plant is clearly showing signs of life, that water glass is just no longer enough. The Schefflera has come back to life and it's officially ready to be repotted into a brand new home. To help the roots settle in comfortably, we need to create a very specific light environment. You're going to want a base of universal peat-based soil. Then mix in a good amount of perlite, those little white rocks, to ensure excellent airflow around the roots. Finally, you can toss in some medium-sized expanded clay at the very bottom of the pot for drainage. But hey, note that the expanded clay is completely optional. Your plant is going to do just fine without it as long as that soil and perlite mix is light and airy.
As you're getting your Schefflera settled into its new soil, please pay attention to this warning because it's absolutely crucial. Never bury the stem base too deep. If you pack soil high up around the stem, it traps moisture right against the plant's base. That can literally cause it to rot before you even notice the damage is happening. Just keep the soil line exactly where the roots naturally meet the stem. Once it's all potted up, it is time for its very first watering in its new home. Now notice this ratio is slightly different from our initial root bath. For this first watering, you'll want to mix 1 teaspoon of hydrogen peroxide into exactly 1 liter of plain water. Giving your freshly repotted plant this specific mixture gives it a fantastic oxygen-rich start as it adjusts to its brand new soil.
From here on out, it's all about simple, ongoing maintenance. Your rescued Schefflera basically just needs a careful balance now. Not too wet and definitely not too dry. Keep it sitting in a spot with calm, indirect light. Whenever you think it might be thirsty, just feel the top layer of the soil with your finger. If it feels moist at all, leave it alone. You really only want to water it when that top layer of soil feels completely dry to the touch. We've seen it firsthand in this explainer today. Even a plant that looks totally hopeless can come back to life with a fresh start, a little oxygen boost, and some patience. So now that you've got the tools and the know-how, I want to leave you with this question. Who is sitting on your windowsill right now, just waiting for a second chance? Go take a look, grab your hydrogen peroxide, and see what miracles you can work today. Thanks so much for learning with me.